pipe sipping community. Thought we would do Maltese Falcon for this review. It is a great English blend, to be honest. Definitely one of my favorites. So Maltese Falcon is actually it's a GLP's blend, manufactured by Cornell and Deal, and certainly a pretty robust, pretty hearty English blend. Now, typically, I like an Oriental forward English blend. And even though this does have some Turkish Orientals in it, the Maltese Falcon blend, it is not by any means a Oriental forward blend, which is typically what is most sought after for me. No, with this blend, it is definitely Latakia forward. But I wouldn't say that it's a lap bomb by any means. Just that it's there. In fact, yeah, no, what I like about this blend is the fact that the Latakia isn't that chimney flue smokiness, that campfire after water has been doused on it to put it out if you're a responsible camper. No, it's much more of a sweet, it's a sweet smoke or smokiness. And when I sip this, that smokiness that comes from the Latakia, the Cyprian Latakia, it reminds me, for anybody who's been around this, maple syrup season. It reminds me of when you have the wood burning underneath the vat as you're boiling off maple sap, because of that combination of the smokiness that you would get from the fire below, mixed with a sweetness. And I'm just smiling because as I'm thinking this through and sipping this and tasting it, I've always appreciated that it was a sweet smokiness, but this is the first time that I've made that actual correlation, and I think that's actually a great analogy. I think that's a great simile between those two, is that it really is reminiscent of that. As traditional with most of my English blends, I usually go with tea. This one I like because it's got some orange peel type flavorings to the tea. It's a black tea. Goes good with that sweetness. And even just with, again, the remnants of the snowfall that I have here behind me, yet I've got that nice warm Utah sun. This is, in New England, this would be the type of day when you were doing maple syruping. Because you would have a light coating of snow, typically on the ground, but the sun was no longer hanging so southward as it went through its zenith. It would be up a little bit higher and you know, give you a little bit more of that direct sunlight. So you had that warmth of the sun mixed with the cool air, the smokiness of the wood burning, and that real sweet, sweet smell of the steam coming off as the water boils off from the syrup. So with that said, with that discovery, I'm going to guess this is going to become more of a springtime favorite for me out here. I've only had one spring so far out here. This is the first full year, having moved out here in March of this year. But yeah, it's really good. It comes in a ribbon cut, and it pretty much is. It's a little bit more coarse of a ribbon cut. Which is just to say, by my standard, that the lengths of the ribbons tend to be a lot shorter, which is fine. And so this blend has red Virginia in it. And I feel as though that's probably where that sweetness is coming from. I mean, obviously, the Virginias are going to be sweet, but I mean as far as it being in tandem with the Latakia, the Cypern Latakia. Makes it just such a delight to sip this. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's not complex, but yet when you sip it, if you're not concentrating on the profile of the blend, of the flavor, you'd almost feel as though it sips like a complex English blend, but it's really not. I think the way it was blended, I think it was very well thought out. I think that the component of measurement that went into this, as far as how much of the Latakia, how much of the Virginia, and just enough Oriental, that it really does give it just such a sweetness to it, that perfumey incense that you get from the Oriental, from Turkish blend. Ever so light, just enough that it lends to the sweetness of the Virginia and helps to just make that smokiness a sweet smoke. Which I am going to stick to, being very, very reminiscent. I mean, I can feel myself sitting here enjoying people coming in and out of the smoke shed, sampling the maple syrup in all of its different shades of dark amber and amber in those little tiny sample cups that they give you. With some apple cider donuts fresh out of the vat. I would certainly recommend Maltese Falcon. It's, if you like English, And even if you were new to pipe sipping and you wanted to try a blend that was English, and you're trying to kind of go through that maturation or transcendence, if you will, out from a lot of people start with aromatics. Not everyone, but a lot. And so if you're starting out with aromatic and you're starting to venture out into more blends and you want to try English, this would be a good blend to start with. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely delicious blend. Love to hear your comments, for sure. This is how I learn as well. People will put things in the comments, and this is why I also watch other reviews. The more I can hear, the more I can place. Like even just now, just talking as it was, I was able to pick this out, and I never, it's actually quite a nice memory for me, and doesn't have to be for me. This could have come, it didn't have to be a eureka moment. It could have been something that I get from either a comment or from somebody else's review. So with that, absolutely, Maltese Falcon, try it if you have not.